Are you ready? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Hello there. I'm gonna bring you another match for the PK Clan TAD tournament. To familiarize, well, whatever, it's not gonna work out, to give you some info about the tournament. This is still the group stage. That means it's gonna be best of one. It's Kiljardi versus Calvis on the Great Plains, of course. Group stage map. Kiljardi is a player who's probably familiar to you guys. He was very good back in the days. He doesn't play Age of Empires that much anymore, but he's still a very good player. Calvis, I don't know that much about him. He's Japanese, and I think he's pretty good as well. It's gonna be a French mirror, as you see over here. It's always interesting. Usually turns out to be Musk House versus Musk House in the colonial age, but there are of course some variations like an Expo Pike Rush or some faster fortress options. Both players have a pretty balanced map. One big hunt close, mine's close to town center. Here we have Calvis hunt. Both starting with a market. It's kind of the new standard French build since a year or two already. You are perfectly able to gather the wood and the coin for a market, especially on Great Plains with some treasures like the coin. You can do hunting dogs in age 1, and you basically age up at the same time as without doing it, because the villagers need training time as well. So if you do it correctly, you usually can age up with 14 villagers right after the 14th villager is done training. Kiljardi here picking up 95 wood, always very nice. And of course still herding the food towards the town center. One difference here is that Kiljardi already started to herd, Calvis not yet. There you go. Of course herding is very important, you need your food close to be protected versus raids later on, but if you herd too much too early, it might delay your age up time, and that can sometimes be a problem. In a French mirror it's not that much of a problem, but for example playing versus a rush civilization like Iroquois, you might want to age up first before starting to herd a lot. Calvis is gonna pick up 60 food over here. I'll take a brief look at both decks. This is Kiljardi's deck. Pretty standard, except that he also has 600 coin in it, while some players prefer 20% berries card or even advanced arsenal, or the skirmisher Coureur de Bois card. Third age is standard. And we already had that one. Calvis. Ah, that's interesting. He opts to go for 600 gold as well. In the third age he also has 4 dragoons, but he doesn't have 1k coin. I think 4 dragoons is nice, but in a French mirror I'm not sure you need it that much, and if you have 1k coin you can spam a lot of units if you run out of gold mines, or for example if you lost a little bit of map control. One big difference here is that you see that Kiljardi doesn't have the Pioneers card, while on the other hand Calvis does have it. They greatly increase your villager hit point by 65%. That means in some occasions, maybe some of you have seen the matches of me versus Koning Erik. In some occasions it can turn out to be a long H2 fight with Musketeer Hussars trying to get map control, trying to get the last herd on the map, which means that both players from time to time will use their villagers to fight. Of course French villagers have a lot of resistance, 0.4, so they do very good versus ranged units like musketeers and crossbowmen. And with the card they do even do still pretty good versus cavalry like the Hussar, because they have so much HP. And if you then have that card, you will have a very big advantage in using your villagers in battle. So we have to see how that plays out. Right now both players are aging up. You can always tell by seeing that they're not grabbing all the food anymore. Not sure if my voice is too low compared to the sound, by the way. I have to check that later. It's probably because I alt-tapped the windows. Anyway, let me change it. So both aged up pretty much same time. 400 wood standard, 400 wood standard as well. The first big variation we might see is if they both go for a stable and for villager shipment first, or if they go for the 700 wood shipment first and making both stable and racks, which is what Kiljardi is going to do over here. You can make both with the 400 wood that you got from your age up. You can queue up one musketeer, one hussar and the villagers, and if you time it out right, when you get 700 wood over here, you can immediately grab it and build a house. And that means that you can train 5 musketeers and 4 or 5 hussars, both at the same time, being able to push out early. Here we see that Calvis just starting with a stable. Steel traps, second market upgrade, probably gonna do pretty early. And shipping the 4 villagers before 700 wood. Kiljardi's build has a little bit has the option to go for a little bit more pressure. You always should do that if you go for a build like this. Because Calvis's build is a little bit more eco-oriented, I would say. Shipping the 700 wood probably afterwards to get the racks up if needed. 5 hus out first, and there you see the 5 musketeers. He delayed the batch a little bit. I think that's good, because then you can ensure that you will have 5 hussars and 5 musketeers out. If you start queuing up too early, then you might have like 3 hussars and 5 musketeers only. That was a little bit of a mismicro, or well, he couldn't go anyway, couldn't get around it. It was 5 versus 5 hussars, but Kiljardi had the better battle. What you saw he did, he ran away, he waited for the exact right moment to attack, when his cavalry was in a better position compared to the cavalry of Red, and then he attacked. And of course, as I explained in the micro tutorials and other stuff on my my channel, you always want to try to pull back the low HP hussars, so that you try to get the other cavalry chasing your low HP hussars while all your other units still do damage. That way you can increase the total damage output and have your units live as long as possible. Meanwhile, 700 wood shipment from Calvis. Now he's gonna add the racks as well. Interesting that he didn't pick up this one. You can even pick it up with your villager, don't need your hero for it, but it's 550 coin. And here Kiljardi obviously has the bigger army right now, not only because he started with the heavier production setup, but also because of course he didn't lose as many hussars in the first battle. Kiljardi still on 1 racks. What you sometimes see is that they go for a second fast racks with the 700 wood. That's not the case, not yet at least. Of course, early on you can't keep up producing 10 musketeers and 5 hussars at the same time. So if you want to go for 5 musketeers, 5 hussars, this is sufficient. It's enough. You also need your houses. But on the other hand, in these kind of setups, it's obviously not obviously, it's often better to get more musketeers out, since they counter hussars, and then you could do more damage. Just having some hussars to counter raids. Calvis is going for the 700 coin here. I'm not sure if he wants to just age or use it for a lot of production. He doesn't have that many villagers on food, so maybe he wants to try to age. Meanwhile, Kiljardi, I'm gonna check that later. Kiljardi sees that he has more musketeers, so he has to try to do some damage. He invested in that, like I said before, with the BO. So you have to try to do some damage if you have this advantage. Of course, Calvis has some more cavalry, but Kiljardi has cavalry as well, and the musketeers are twice as many. And they do counter cavalry, of course. So he doesn't want to engage yet. I'm not sure what he's going to do over here, so be careful. No second racks yet. His foot is a little bit, I'm not sure if it's back hurt or not, or if it's just badly hurted, but it's not in the best position. Kiljardi still has some in the back, but he's running out. He's trying to bring in the second one. You see 8 crossbowmen shipment. Not that many new musketeers. So I'm curious what he will do. Maybe he's still aging, not sure. Minuteman popping out here because he needs some extra damage output. Crossbowmen should be targeted at the musketeers, which he's gonna do now. You can put some musketeers in melee mode versus the hussars, just a few, because it's better to have most of them in ranged mode because you will do more damage overall. But we see that he trained some more musketeers with the crossbowman shipment and the minutemen, and the more hussars that he had. He will take this battle for now. He can keep picking up some here because of course crossbowmen have more range than musketeers, and he still has to run away. He keeps making musketeers for now. He should try to take out this hero because it provides a lot of line of sight over here, so you can see any raids coming, including this one. So he's probably gonna get trapped between the hussars over here and the army of Calvis coming on the other side, like you see now. In a situation like this, what you actually should do is leave one of your hussars behind. He's trying to do that now. Attack the other ones to slow them down and run with the rest. If you keep running, they will keep attacking you, and you will be kept slowed. You will be slowed down the whole time, and you will lose every unit you have. This is a very brave group of crossbowmen over here. Has to be careful not to get picked off. But his other army is coming right in time. Kiljardi sent the Hussar HP card and the crossbowman. That makes me curious. There's a 600 gold. Okay, interesting. One villager going down here in the raid. Let's compare it for a second. Kiljardi has more villagers. Calvis lost a few also in the first battle over there. He tried to pressure this hunt a little bit because he knows that it's Kiljardi's main hunt now because he has no other resources on the other side. Of course, if you scout the map, you can see, even if it's in the shadow in the fog, you can still see whether it's been herded or not. So you know if your other opponent is herding over there or someplace else. Calvis hasn't upgraded villager HP yet. If he would have done that before, they would be a little bit better in the fight, and perhaps he might have saved one or two. I think it's very important, not per se in the start, but eventually, like from the 7-8 minute mark at least, to upgrade your villager HP. Also, you might often see that you will be able to save a villager barely from a raid with 3 hussar, for example, while if you had no villager HP upgrade, you probably would have lost it. Calvis is gathering all the way over here. It's quite risky. But he wasn't able to herd this towards his town center pretty well, so because of that he has to find his resources elsewhere. At the same time trying to push out over here, at least putting pressure on. And we see now that Kiljardi has not many hunts left as well. I think he should be trying to bring in this one. Keep in mind the bison, of course, is the bigger herd, provides you with more food. On the other hand, the pronghorns, they run faster, which means that it's easier to herd them towards your town center. But as long as Kiljardi has a big army, or at least big enough, he can keep control of this center spot here with all the resources, and as I explained before, can even use some villagers in the fight if needed. And that gives you a very strong position as French. Because Calvis feels a little bit unsure about his position, he's going to build a tower to always have a safe spot to hide in case there's any raid coming in. Gonna lose another villager over there. Kiljardi also shipped the cavalry attack. Calvis hasn't shipped any cavalry cards yet. Of course, he used the 600 gold. I think a battle is coming in, so I can't check the stats now, but he finds out the villager over here. Oh, this is going to be very risky. Kiljardi has to respond right now. Of course, villagers can do well versus infantry, but if you lose to such a big group like Hussars over here, you can't fight them. Okay, so he's still trying to take the fight over here. It's still okay because his army is in the back doing damage. Otherwise, he would have run away. It's still very close. I think Kiljardi, as he's doing now, should use his villagers. If you're using your villagers in battle like he's doing now, you should always try to bring some of them up front. The damage they do is not that great. It's usually 8, but you upgrade it to 11 in the market. But the main benefit you have is that they have 0.4 ranged resistance, and that means they absorb a lot of damage from musketeers and crossbowmen. He did that later. He had them first over here, then he brought some forward in front of his army to soak up damage of the units of Calvis. And this, in fact, is probably game over here, because Calvis stayed there for too long and lost too much of his army. He's now trying to switch to crossbowmen, as you see here, shipping 3 hussars. It's always very, almost kind of desperate move. His village is being idle over here. It's too bad that he didn't try to hurt this herd towards his town center earlier in the game. Or, as you see now, he has 2 wrecks. Kiljardi still has 1. If you feel that your map is a little bit bad for you, you have 2 options. One is to go for an aggressive build or a rush perhaps. The other is going for a fortress and then try to win with your better units and shipments. If you go for a long H2 fight like he's doing now, you eventually will lose if you have the worst resources, because you just can't gather as much as the other guy can. Kiljardi, of course, tries to push in a little bit, but he knows that he can't push in too far, because if he leaves his villagers unprotected, then Calvis will come in for a raid. I'm surprised he still not sent the Hussar HP card. Imagine, by the way, in last battle, the big battle over here, if he had Hussar HP, that is 48 more HP, he had like 10, maybe 15, 12, 15 Hussars. That's so much HP. He would be useful in battle there. I think that matters a lot. He's now going for a lot of crossbowmen, but this is endgame, because he has not enough anti-cavalry left. He has a nice raid over here, but his army is getting crushed, and finally filled HP, but a little bit late. So that's it. Kiljardi won it. In short, the first battle is very important. Kiljardi responded better, got the better position, microed better as well. That means he had like, I believe, 4 hussars left, or like 3.5 if you take into account the HP, and Calvis around with 3 or 2.5, something like that. That means that Calvis can't raid again because he can't risk getting trapped. On the other hand, Kiljardi knows that he has like a free reign over the map and won't have a raid coming in anytime soon. Then next he trained the musketeers, being able to put on some pressure. Also, not even pressure, by the way, on this his base, but also being able to put on some pressure on the resources. For example, over here, Calvis was not able to hurt on time because of the army of Kiljardi running there early on. And later on we saw that Kiljardi was trying to bring in this hunt. I think a very good decision of him, when he saw that Calvis had a stronger army for a little while. He wasn't trying to force a battle over here or trying to gather here whatever it takes, but he moved his villagers over here with a lot more resources. Having more villagers over there means you also have the option to use a lot of villagers in a battle, which can turn the tide, as you have seen before. And that was a very important decision to eventually win this game. Then again, no cavalry HP is kind of a question mark to me for Calvis, and the way he engaged this battle was, in my opinion, not optimally either. But I think that his map had a little bit less resources for the long game anyway. As you see, there's only Pronghorn over here, while Kiljardi still gathered some of this. So, good game, French Mirror, first one so far. Glad I've seen no Iroquois or Ottomans. And that's it for now. I'm bringing up the post game shortly. For a short time. Here you see the difference in the BO. It's a small difference in fact, but you see that Calvis lost a lot of villagers also in this huge fight at his town center. Kiljardi, I think Calvis came out ahead, but that means ahead in army, and Kiljardi just pulled back, took advantage of his economy, took advantage of his bigger economy because he had more villages, and then he was able to just outmass him later on, or remass him again. And here you see the huge fight, no cavalry HP, Kiljardi using his villagers. The micro is sometimes hard to see, but I think he did a little bit better there as well. And also in resources gathered, Kiljardi was then pulling ahead, of course, because of having more villages. Okay, so that was it. I'm probably going to stream another game later tonight. I think it's going to be Nevure versus Sporting Lisbon. Not sure yet, so keep an eye on it.